Hey y'all, it's the ARM dude here. Hey, in this video, I want to introduce you to ARM's automated invoice setup process. Now, this is a set of processes that will go out and look at all of your open orders, determine whether or not any billing needs to occur, and if so, it'll create the invoices, print them, print out all the supporting documents, and even post it to your general ledger. So a lot of this stuff you might manually be doing now, tracking in spreadsheets and going in and creating the invoices individually, but this will eliminate the need to do so. Now, it doesn't eliminate your possibility of going in and creating invoices on a one-off basis to handle that walk-in traffic and such. That's still there. This is for primarily that recurring billing, or for those customers that prefer just to get their invoices in the mail or via email or fax, however they might want those delivered. So stay tuned and let's go play around in automated invoice setup. Okay, so to use automated invoice setup, you just need to click on it and bring it up on your screen. And the first thing we're going to have to do is determine our batch number. And we can do this by just clicking on the next batch number icon. And we're going to tell it OK. Now that's going to take us to the selection screen. And this is where we're going to establish all the criteria that we want to use to determine which contracts need to be included in this invoicing run. You have things like bill through and invoice dates, the type of contracts and line types that you want to include. You can even narrow your scope down using ranges, maybe to a particular customer or location. And then you can also tell it the type of lines. All lines, just returns, new shippers. Those are some of the selection criteria. Now in this case, I have everything set to all. So when I tell this to proceed, it's going to go out and look at every single open contract in our system and to determine whether or not any of these contracts have any billing activity that needs to occur. And here you can see that there are a number of them that do need to have invoices created. Now each one of these is already pre-selected, so if I tell this to print, it'll go ahead and create the invoice. If I want to exclude any of these from the invoicing run, I could do so by removing the check mark. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell this to print. And now it's going to create our invoices for us. Now once it's done that, it's going to give you an exception report and let you know if there's any contracts that didn't get processed and why. In this case we have one contract, 1588, that got skipped, and the reason why is that contract has not been shipped yet. All contracts must be in ship status before they can be invoiced. So that's okay. I'm fine with this. This isn't really as much of an error message. It's just letting me know that that contract hasn't been delivered to the customer yet. Now I'm going to close this, and it's going to give me an opportunity to go out and review those invoices that it just created. And at this point, I could still go in and make changes to any of these invoices just by selecting it. For example, if I wanted to change 3411, I would select it. And now I can go in and make any changes or additions that I might need to do. Possibly change the price if there was a special agreement that came into play after the initial contract shipped. Whatever the case may be. Once you've managed all of your invoices, you've reviewed them and you're fine with them and you want to release them for printing, then you would just go ahead and hit the printer icon, and you're going to tell it which batch we're printing. You could be processing multiple invoice batches at a time. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And now we're going to preview these invoices. Now a thing about invoicing, paperless office is available with ARM 4.30. That's included. And so if your customers prefer to receive their invoices via paper and just traditional mail, it will print those invoices out. Customers that prefer to receive their invoices via email or fax will just have their invoices be delivered that way, and they won't actually print out. That's a part of the paperless office setup process, which isn't under the scope of this particular video. Now you'll see here are the invoices that it just created, and if I toggle through, it looks like some of these are rental rebills. Here's a new rental, but basically you get the idea. All of our invoices are printing.
Now once that's complete, we'll close out of it. And now it's going to go out and wants to print out all of the supporting documents that are needed for this, including updating your journals and registers. So I'm going to tell it the batch we're working on. And since this is going to end up posting to our general ledger, we want to put all of those invoices through a validation process to make sure that they include all of the information that we need to properly post them. So I'm going to tell this to proceed to go through that validation process, and if everything passed, in this case it did, we'll just tell it to go ahead and print the sales revenue journal. And here's a copy of that report. Next, it's going to print our tax summary. And then next, it will print our gross profit journal. And finally, there are 16 different daily sales recap reports that you can include. I have all of mine turned off, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it yes here, and it would print out any of the recap reports that we wanted. Again, paperless office is also supported here, so if you're taking advantage of paperless office, these things can be printed to soft copy instead of hard copy. So I'll tell this yes, and now we're going to update our sales journal. Now you'll see it updated AR, inventory, and things like that. Now it's going to come in and print our daily transactions register. So we're going to see the accounts and amounts that we're going to be posting. And then finally, once I close this out, it's going to go out and update the daily transaction register. So what we just did was use automated invoice setup to go out and review all of our contracts, create invoices for those contracts that needed to have billing activity occur, print out all the supporting documents, and then finally post it to the general ledger. So it was one process that took us through all of that, and that's how you use automated invoice setup.